that little hiccup as we had some technical difficulties on our end. We have reason to believe that everything is back and functioning. We had a bit of a surge or something to our director PC, but here we are, right? We're back. We did just witness Mossman unfortunately go down in his series, but end on a win. So he will go down 3-2 and drop his overall record to 3-3 in his Tekken competition.
Still holding on to that 50-50 win rate, which I believe is what he wanted to come out of this series. And it's frankly a very just deserved sort of spot. I do wonder if going forward he will be able to match these Heihachis. He's definitely found some footing, but it just hasn't been enough yet. As we hop into League, we do see a bit of bot side action.
Yes, we are back into the League of Legends action. We are still fighting through our technical difficulties here, but as far as we know, you guys are watching some League action, right? We do see a stun onto the mid lane, and not a ton to see there, as we do see a slow from Misfortune. They might actually be able to get a kill. I might have spoken too soon, as the bullet time will come down, and they are able to put the Anivia away. A well-timed gank there from Shenandoah will find a kill in the mid lane, as we now see, though, the drawbacks of committing so many players to a certain play like that will mean that the cross map that Florida Poly has been so good at so far means that they walk away with a tower in the bot lane.
I mean, great stuff coming through from SU here. Able to get some picks, 6 kills to 5 in favor of the Hornets. A much better game 2 coming through, right? A more calm, cool, and collected. The split push from Florida Poly will still be extremely strong with these 6 scrubs. Kangaroo Feet getting aggressive against this set, but unable to find any ground just yet in this matchup.
Yeah, this is a very rough spot for the Camille, where Set does have this Blade of the Ruin King, which is just going to make it so difficult to 1v1, as we do see, just look at how much damage is put onto this Camille. You need about like 2, I'd say, either that or 3 items on Camille before you can confidently start matching Set blow for blow, because your Q is the equivalent of a Cho'Gath ulti.
Yeah, and it's important to note that Shenandoah is actually up in kills this game, right? We saw the early game mistakes start to peek through, but ultimately Shenandoah not going down just yet, as now we do have the Herald dropped and charged in the mid lane. Galaxy Bird was caught a little out of position, but Sneed is able to make his great escape after finding the Rift Herald charge. Once again, back to top lane where the action truly matters. And both of these players just farming up a storm, as now Florida Poly will make their way to their second dragon, and we will see if Shenandoah is able to contest or not.
You will see that Shenandoah is looking for the set, as Hui's big AoE will be able to close out that life. And while Shenandoah does have the lead in KOs, it is Florida Poly who walks away with 2 dragons in hand and still has more money. Where does that money come from, you may ask? It's your towers. We've seen towers going down in mid lane and bot lane, as well as a couple of just a little bit of a CS difference between the 2 sides. So we will have to see. But oh, it looks like Mossman did have his other opponent show, which means that we have Mossman's Nina up against a Reina, as Mossman gets the 3rd round already and is getting crazy value to start things off.
Yeah, I'm glad that this came in when it did, because I was quite literally just about to say that, if I was not mistaken, that League was going to be the only thing on your screen for the rest of the show. But correction inbound, right? It seems like Mossman does have his second match today, so good on this Green Bandit for making his appearance onto this Shenandoah broadcast. But we'll take you back into the double box as Mossman loads into game number 2 of this second series.
Yeah, Mossman, again, looking very good against Green Bandit, putting together some strong strings, already taking that first set to go up 1-0 on the series. Likely going to take this first round of the second set as well, but I might have spoken too soon, as Green Bandit now putting together a few strings.
I need to address just real quick, as Mossman is able to get around, I do believe the Reyna is rocking a Biken outfit, which, like, hey, kudos to you. Love the Guilty Gear. We got players of our own here at Shenandoah Esports. Y'all should check them out. But enough about that. We do see Reyna get a good amount of damage to start things off, going for the 1-1-2 jab, as Mossman is trying to get a little bit of damage back using those kicks, as a Misfortune bullet time is used, but is immediately canceled after about 3 waves of the ulti.
Yeah, we now see that Florida Poly really starting to take control of this map, right? We are seeing all of this sort of gold advantage start to make itself known, but we do see the Ragear come out from Mossman, not quite land, but he's not out of it just yet. Unable to find much there, as the slide will find a little bit of damage. Both of these players clinging to life, and a great interrupt there, super armored through that move. Mossman will take the round and take a 2-0 lead in game number 2 here.
The crush on that move is so good because you just are able to duel with your opponent so easily, especially when they just don't have the right tool to deal with it. As Reyna returns it, Moss opting to try and use that high crush, but it just doesn't work out, as multiple slaps across the face will mean that Mossman gets another 3-0.
Yeah, Tariq ulti coming down for Shenandoah as they find themselves in a bit of an uncomfortable situation with that set, but ultimately able to take him down. The kill will go to Noob, and now look at the shutdown values for Shenandoah, right? They need to be careful if they start dying too much. They are down in gold, but if they start dropping, that could make this significantly worse, as we see the fight breaking out here on the bottom side of the map once again. Florida Poly's jungler and support finding themselves a little too up front, but Noob walking away with a little bit of health. The Jhin looks to flash forward and can't find the auto attack to finish Noob off. He will walk away with his life, and Jhin now forced to run with his, as he now no longer has a flash.
Tariq has a lot of healing, and that was amazing. Noob just barely able to stay alive, and Space just barely away from the flash forward from that 4th shot from Iroh on that Jhin. I'm fairly confident that Hui dropped within single digits on that health bar, but now look at the gold. We're dead even in gold for the first time in this series, for the first time in this game. SU starting to come alive. Levavane, Noob, and Galaxy Bird all with shutdowns, and Kangaroo Feet trying to make their way into this top side, transferring or role swapping from jungle into the top, having a little bit of a tricky time adjusting to that one right now, but still will have a lot of potential with a late game. Camille will do a lot of damage as the back is canceled. It looks like Set is going to be able to pick up another kill. However, the Facebreaker does miss.
I mean, able to buy a lot of time, and now with Set pulled down, I mean, keep an eye on Kangaroo Feet's teleport if there is a play to be made here, but looks like he will opt to not use it. Go down gracefully, as the Set ultimate will come out. Kangaroo Feet opting to use his in return, but not enough to come out of that one. We do see a lot of fighting, though, on the other side of the map, right? The opposite, the cross-mapping has been the name of the game. I mean, I can't say it enough. And now we do see Shenandoah starting this dragon, right? But with Galaxy Bird there, Smite available, Sneed has also made his presence known, as he drops a ward over the back wall. The curtains have opened. Dragon now at 3,500 HP. Sneed not in position to take it until he is. He drags himself into the dragon. Bullet time will come down and find a kill in return, but a well-timed smite from Sneed means that they will walk away with Soul Point. 2 more kills onto the Misfortune will mean that she only gets stronger, but cross-mapping, cross-mapping, cross-mapping. Can't say it enough. This Set will look to find a tower in return, and he will get it. A massive wave up here. He might even just go for the inhibitor.
Well, not only that, we got Tekken on the other side, and this Rage Art may be enough to close this out. Not yet, as the Green Bandit has a 2-round lead. Mossman goes for the Lou, and it doesn't connect, which means that now the Green Bandit has 1 round.
Yeah, we have a Baron starting up on the other side of your screen here, as well as Florida Poly now, as the gold was just even not too long ago, but Florida Poly seems to be in so much more control as now Kangaroo Feet looks to put this set away, but Set opting to stay and has to be feeling confident here as now the Camille damage will come down a little closer than expected, but Kangaroo Feet still coming out on top. Will now take you back full screen into the Tekken action.
Yes, as we do see Mossman just keeping up the pressure, not giving this Green Bandit any time to breathe, as it just is it's always Moss's turn until just now. The 1-1-2 is able to even things out. A very good whiff punish means that now Reyna gets a good amount of damage, goes for the 2 kick, and won't be able to get much more damage as Mossman gets the grab going, goes for the full chain, just one grab after another, and the bones crunch as Reyna is eating a lot of damage.
Yeah, Green Bandit now trying to go on the counter attack, putting together a string. The Rage Art popped, will connect. That might be it. That might be the round secured for Mossman. Possibly, we will find out here just in a moment. Just barely, not enough damage. Oh man! This game is so cinematic. That was awesome.
Yeah, throwing out moves at the same time. They trade, but not enough damage coming from Green Bandit will mean that both hits land, but only one will find a kill. Mossman taking that round will take you back to the league on the right side of your screen as Shenandoah has bodies falling. Set finds a double kill in this tight chokehold. The bullet time found a lot of damage. Anivia went down, but ultimately not enough for Shenandoah as they're starting to lose control here. Soul point for Florida Poly is one heck of a win condition the longer this game goes on.
Oh my goodness,
wow.
And a very aggressive call out by Mossman, using the guns to get a little bit of damage at a distance, and then goes for an immediate run up, 2 palms to the face, means that he walks away with a 3 wins that he needs. But there is one more round that they will play as we look back at the league action, and those 2 kills that Florida Poly got is evened out the gold again, if not giving them a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, we're probably entering a little bit of a lull here in this League of Legends matchup. Not a whole lot of objectives to play for. The Dragon will be spawning in about a minute and a half's time. But right now, Shenandoah, the Baron, wearing off, still staying even in gold. It's about 500, 600 gold behind thus far. But the name of the game right now for SU is keep this misfortune alive. 6-0-2, 3 items completed on the side of this MF. She is going to be able to tear through some teams. But, I mean, it's just up to Florida Poly to try to find that angle. If Sneed is able to find a flag and drag into a Cataclysm on to that MF, she'll blow up, right? Noob now finding themselves in a 1v1, able to win that one out handedly. I mean, this is the scaling power that we were trying to see in that game 1 finally coming alive here for SU.
Yeah, and that was great. That came down to 1 ward being placed from Noob, right? He might have been caught completely off guard had he not put that in that bush, but a well-timed ward and a good awareness from Noob will mean that he walks out with not only his life, but a kill in return. We'll take you back to some double box action as now Tekken is starting to heat up. We have 2 rounds taken on both sides, and no pun intended, Moss will activate his heat, literally heating up as now he looks to reactivate, and he does, throwing this Reyna against the wall, and a perfect KO coming out from Mossman as he only needs 1 more round to walk out of this a 4-1 winner.
Yes, using the foreground to dash past the Reyna and get a very good combo to start things off. Reyna activating the heat, trying to get a little bit of damage off, but Moss doing a good job of making sure that no hit is committing too much while this heat is online, as now it is gone. She isn't able to use the reactivation. She has the Rage Art, but Mossman gets a second perfect and is able to close things out as the bullet time goes live.
Yeah, massive Misfortune ulti there as the Targ ulti is on its way down, and it will connect, keeping Noob alive, and Empro as well. Sneed just about to go down. Milio forced to flash out with little to no HP. The Targ stun will not land. Jin looking to find a kill in return, and Misfortune walks up just a little bit too far. The curtain call comes out, but immediately canceled as the CC starts to come out. Both of these AD carries finding themselves a little too aggressive, and Milio probably should have just ran away. He will still get out with his life. A 4-for-1 trade for Shenandoah will mean that they get this dragon and stall this game out just a little longer.
Yeah, there was a possibility to catch out that Melio, but that second bandage toss did connect onto the Raptors, pulling them just a little bit further away from where they would have liked to be. But, I mean, SU, that Tark ultimate was a massive, barely keeping Levavane and Noob alive in the backside of that fight. And we can see Sneed, the game plan, the flag and drag into Cataclysm into that backline was executed perfectly, but they weren't able to find that follow-up damage from Iroh from that set. I mean, it was so close. It was so unbelievably close for Florida Poly, but they were just unable to find that extra bit of damage.
In my opinion, the longer this game goes on, the more favored it is for Shenandoah. Hui becomes such a menace, as well as Camille's Qs just being so incredibly deadly. No one will be able to 1v1 that character as this game goes on. But if there is a chance for Florida Poly to bring this back, the gold is relatively even, and it was this last buy on this Jhin. Because he was able to get that shutdown on that Misfortune, he has his Infinity Edge. This is the most deadly spike a Jhin can get, and could be the limiting factor for Shenandoah walking away with this win.
Yeah, I really think the rest of this game is going to come down to macro decisions, right? Decisions made all around the map. Can Shenandoah keep winning these fights without giving up too much elsewhere? Because that has been where Florida Poly has stayed in this game. You look at the top of your screen, you see 10 kills to 20, and you think, good lord, Shenandoah is running away with it. And then you look slightly off of that, you see the goal difference is negligible. How is Florida Poly in this game? It's because they've been everywhere. They're not giving up anything on the map for free, and that is how you win League of Legends games. So if Shenandoah can stay in it across the map, that could be what this comes down to, is now we see a 4-man commit onto this set, but Florida Poly is looking to return, and we're not sure if Shenandoah even knows that they're there. We do now see the numbers, the players from Florida Poly start to make themselves known. Curtain Call comes out and will not find any kills as Hui walks out with a kill of his own. We see a fight start to break out on the bottom side of the map as Kangaroo Feed is forced now to run with little to no HP, and another Anivia E won't quite finish the job, but a red buff just ticking damage down and permanently slowing the Camille will mean that she will lose the 1v1 solo killed to the Anivia for Florida Poly. Baron start on the other side of the map as Shenandoah looks to salvage the situation.
I kid you not, if Anivia does not have that red buff, I think that the Camille walks away, or could have been able to turn it, but that little bit of a slow kept the Camille in the reactivation range of the ultimate. We did see Kangaroo Feet use the E on the Anivia wall to dash away. I do think there is a spot where you try to play aggressive. You run back at that Anivia to keep momentum going. But as of right now, that does mean that we will not have Baron buff on Shenandoah's Camille.
Yeah, no Baron on the split pushing Camille. It is tough, right? It's hard to really push with the other characters that you have picked here, the other champions in this game. But, I mean, the gold, you have a 2K gold lead, but we're slowly approaching the point of that gold won't really matter, right? As soon as we hit this kind of 40, 45-minute time frame, everyone's going to be pretty close to being full build. There will be a lot of damage across the board, and then it just comes down to those small decisions, the positioning of Levavane, the timings of the Tark ultimate, and the bullet time. Finding out, winning out on these small exchanges will go a long way, and thus far in game number 2, SU has been able to win out on that front.
Yeah, and Florida Poly does have one major win con, and we'll come back to that in a moment as we have fights breaking out on both sides of the map. A massive Set ult finds the entire backline. The bullet time will come down, and Set will go down as well. Galaxy Bird now blocking the Curtain Call shots as the damage is raining down from Shenandoah. Look at the health bars for these Florida Poly players under this tower. They're trying so hard to defend it, and sure enough, Noob will just find another kill. Shenandoah able to start the siege, find 2 kills, and ultimately take the tower. Now Kangaroo Feed finds himself into some trouble as well. Without his E, cannot get away from the wall, and is solo killed again on the other side of the map. All of that commitment top lane just to lose your bot lane tier 2. Cross maps falling in favor of Florida Poly once again.
Oh my goodness. I do think an Amumu Q may be enough to get this Anivia off the map. There is the passive proc, and the KO goes to Noob, who is truly becoming the menace that SU needs.
I mean, that was just a Galaxy Bird flashing over the Anivia wall, finding the bandage toss, able to connect with that one. But, I mean, back to that fight top lane. Set was just barely pixels away as a possible steal coming through. They will be able to find it. Soul secured for Florida Poly. I mean, that's kind of huge, right? Millia ult will have that Cloud Soul, and having that up against the Yamumu is huge.
And am I wrong? I'm looking at the map. I was looking at the pit. I think that was blind. I don't think he had any vision on the dragon. He launched himself at the dragon and got a steal. That is a miraculous play from Sneeds to walk out with a Cloud Soul. That's a big deal for Florida Poly now, as we see another engage from Kangaroo Feet looking to just win the 1v1. Can he come out on top? Here comes the Set ult, and a massive true damage won't quite land. Here comes the true damage the other direction, but Kangaroo Feet taking a lot of damage both from Set and from minions. And look at the healing from this Set. It's big enough to be numbers on your screen. 8 and 7 is this Set now with 4 completed items, as now Galaxy Bird also finds himself out of position. This Amumu will absolutely go down, as now Shenandoah again just looking to salvage. The Set flashes onto Noob, and he gets blasted. Bullet time finally comes out to finish this Set off, but Shenandoah just unable to execute the dream plan every time.
Yeah, getting caught by that face breaker is tough. I mean, especially when you're that low with the true damage, the W all the way charged up. Under Set's health bar, you'll see a little line as he takes damage that gets bigger and bigger, and eventually will be maxed out and will be yellow. And when he presses his W, that little cone ability, that little line in the middle does true damage and scales off of how much damage he took right before he uses it. So he took the max amount of damage, and he did the max amount of damage, absolutely obliterating Noob in the 1v1. The flash forward from Empro as well will be stopped as Anivia is able to find the stun.
This is such a dangerous spot for this game to be in, because now we've seen so many times where, yes, Camille has had the chance to get back into this game over and over, but is not able to win in these solo lane situations no matter how long this game goes on, which means that it's going to be incredibly difficult for SU to commit to this sort of 4-1 game plan that they've been going to for most of this game. It may come down to getting Ollie or Kangaroo Feet in these fights and forcing the 5v5 to close this out and walking mid. You gotta start something, otherwise it will be a slow bleed.
And look at this Set's items. A full Hull Breaker means that this guy is a demon in a side lane by himself. I mean, the value that that item brings, as well as that's 4 completed items, including the plated steel caps. Now as Noob finds himself out of position again, the TP will come in, but it will almost surely be too late, as now Kangaroo Feet finds himself all alone, right? The same situation we just watched. Kangaroo Feet now forced to use his ult to buy a little bit of time, but the Anivia wall will come out again. He is able to claw over that, and the Anivia wall actually preventing the team from following up much more. Kangaroo Feet walks out with his life, but again, a big commit from Shenandoah, only to walk out empty-handed. We now see the rotation to the mid lane, as now the rest of Shenandoah caught out of position again. Amumu ultimate comes down in bullet time. Big finds good damage onto the Milio, but not much more. Cataclysm finds 4. Set ult into the backline will not even matter. The Jhin dishing damage, and it will be 4 kills for Florida Poly, as that might just end this game.
And it's going to be a clean ace in favor of Florida Poly. Levivane unable to get out of the Cataclysm. A great engage coming through from Sneed. A mis-execution in the fight as well. The curse of the Sad Mummy trying to buy time, but unable to do so. Florida Poly able to win out in the end in a very scrappy game 2.
Wow. I mean, I'm out of breath. That's a heartbreaker for Shenandoah, because they were right there in it the entire time. That game 2 was so much closer and so better executed than game number 1, right? They they got out of laning phase not too far behind, and that was the big critique we had coming out of game 1. But unable to just put it all together and find the late game team fight wins and the macro plays that they needed, and ultimately will go down 2-0 to Florida Poly.
It's tough because there's so much that can go into any given game, and while yes, they did try and keep things even, it truly came down to staying too hard to a game plan that wasn't working. The 4-1 strategy on paper makes sense, right? You have a Camille doing whatever she needs to just stay in that sideline and keep things going. But when it's not working and you get to the late game where it's not going to work past that point, you need to change your game plan. Maybe send Camille diving into the Jhin the moment he curtain calls or something along those lines. But it's just not enough this time around, as not only that, a player is caught out. With all of that being said, Shenandoah did walk away 2-2.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, 2-2 on the day, right? Mossman walking out 1-1, so he will move up to 4-3 in his CFGC competition. League of Legends will unfortunately fall to Florida Poly, so they remain winless in their competition. But Smash Bros coming out on top in both of their series. So overall, not a bad day if you're a Shenandoah fan, and not a bad day to watch the show with us, right? We had a lot of fun putting on this show. We watched a lot of games here. All 4 titles, or I guess 3 titles, 4 games was a lot for us to deal with. But a couple of technical hiccups later, and we come out on top. So we had a lot of fun. We certainly hope you had a lot of fun. That will do it for us. Be sure to tune in to all of our socials. Drop us a follow on whatever you are watching, because we have a big thing coming up this weekend. We will be streaming for 72 hours straight. That is 3 days uninterrupted with the drop of the new Call of Duty game, Black Ops 6. We will be playing right here in this room, so you won't want to miss it. So with that, right, thanks so much for watching. Drop us a follow on whatever you're watching. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. And we will see you this weekend playing some Call of Duty.
Game. Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the esports arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the esports arena is the esports war room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.